Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Em. If you don't know, now you know. Hi guys. How are you? How are you doing? How was your week? I don't know. It has felt like such a long week. It's Sunday. Should I be recording on Sunday? No. Also, I'm in front of the window again, so if you can hear the street noise, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody said that I was good at having a podcast. Anyways, yeah, it has felt like such a long week. I was gonna record yesterday and then life happened and I didn't, but I was like making notes for what I wanted to record today. And I was like, I don't remember if I uploaded last week. Like, I genuinely, Monday felt like an eternity ago. But we're here. I think I uploaded last week. Yeah, we talked about TikTok. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, how was your guys' week? I had a pretty good week, as much as it felt super long. This was the first weekend in a couple weeks that I didn't work on Saturday, so that was nice. I'm also not going into work on Monday because it's just going to be a super quiet day, so I'm not going to go in. I have some personal work stuff to do, and I'm also not going to be there on Friday, so I'm only going to have a 3-day work week, and then I get to go home and see my family, and I am so excited to go home. My brother just got home from university this past weekend. My mom and my sister went to go pick him up and drive him back, and yeah, so he's home. I get to go home next weekend, and I'm very excited. And I don't know, we got snow this week. Did you guys get snow wherever you're living? I never know like how to address the weather outside, because I have a lot of people who listen that live here, and then I also have people who live in completely different countries. So I never know. We got snow here on Wednesday and Thursday, and now it's like 13 degrees today, I think. So we're going through the third winter, but I think it's over. Thank God, because I need to start like getting outside more, and I also need to start tanning, which I know people are going to come for me and say like, don't tan in the sun. I try to be as careful as possible. I'm going to the dermatologist in a couple weeks to like make sure that I'm all good. But we are doing family pictures beginning of June, both like family pictures, and both of my siblings are going to do their grad pictures together because my brother graduated last year. It's a whole long thing. So they're doing grad pictures, and then we're going to do family pictures because we haven't had like full family photos done since I think I was like 14 or 15. Like I was really, really young. So we're doing family pictures, and I refuse to be pale for them. So I need to like start working on getting a tan. I need the weather to get a little bit nicer so that I can justify going and sitting outside on the weekends. Also, decided I'm going to start running again, which I feel like every spring and summer I get into this mindset of like, I love the idea of being a runner. I don't like running. I've never liked running. I don't know. I don't get a ton of enjoyment from it. But it's really fucking good for you, and it's a way to get outside, because I will not run on the treadmill. Absolutely not. I'll do like sprints in the gym. Like I do sprint intervals all the time in the gym, but on like the assault like the self-propelled treadmills, I cannot justify doing like a 5K run on a flatbed treadmill. Absolutely not. So I only run in the spring and summer, but I don't know. So I'm gonna start that this week. I was gonna start last week, and then we got snow, and I did not want to be running in snow and freezing rain. So we're gonna start on Wednesday. I think I've convinced my siblings to also start with me, so that'll be really fun, because now every time I go home during the summer, we can go for a little run together, which will be cute. So there's that. What else? I feel like I don't have a ton of other life updates. I think we're gonna do a vlog, like a weekend home vlog, so that'll be up on YouTube probably middle to late next week. I'm gonna do the Andrew Huberman, like the Huberman Lab routine video, not this week but next week, because next week I start my new work schedule where I'm only working, well, not only, but my like entire schedule is shifting to 9 to 5. So I'm gonna do the Huberman routine for a week, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. That's exciting. I feel like I'm very mellow today. It's like 11:30 on a Sunday. I have not really done anything this morning. I kind of tidied the house, and then the cats already destroyed it, so I'm gonna have to re-clean. and I'm going to pick up my groceries in a couple hours, but I haven't really done anything. I went for drinks with a couple friends last night, which was really fun. We were gonna go sit on the patio, but it was cold, so we sat inside. But that was really fun, and I'm hoping to, I don't know, I'm really gonna try and be more social this summer and like actually make plans with people, because I don't ever do that. I like sitting alone. So I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a good week. I don't know. So I guess we'll just get into it. I wanted to talk this week about, I didn't really come up with a title for this. I'm going to have to think of the title while I'm editing. Essentially, I listened to a podcast episode a couple months ago, I think now. I'll link it down below. I don't even remember who it was by, but I'll go find it and I'll link it below in the show notes. And it was basically just her talking about like protecting your energy and like paying attention to how people affect your energy and who you allow to affect your energy. So I thought we would talk about it because I've had some shit go on recently that has made this all the more important for me to focus on in my life. So I think one of the most important things in your life, especially if you are trying to become a better person and you are, you're trying to just optimize who you are and the output that you have on the world, start paying attention to how you feel after hanging out or after interacting with somebody. This could be somebody that you've been friends with for a decent amount of time, or just somebody that you work with or you see frequently for whatever reason. Pay attention to how you feel after you have any sort of interaction with them. Are you feeling happy? Do you feel content? Do you feel kind of like full of energy? You know how there's some people who you see them and you hang out with them and whatever, and you leave and you just feel so, your cup is just full. You just feel so full of life and content with how that interaction went. So do you feel like that? Or are you leaving the interaction and you feel drained, you feel tired, whatever? Because here's the thing, your gut is almost never wrong, and your body will tell you how you should feel about a person. Just like, you just have to pay attention. So if I see someone, I have a conversation with them, or we go for lunch, or we do whatever, and I leave and I am feeling mentally exhausted, I feel drained, I'm like in a bad headspace now, whatever it is, listen to that. There is a reason that you feel that way. Obviously, I'll get into this later, but this is not an excuse for you to just like cut people off, no contact, with no explanation. But there is a reason that you're feeling the way you're feeling after you hang out with certain people. So pay attention to it. And either it's a really good feeling and this is somebody that your body is kind of telling you that they are a good person to have in your life, they are a positive addition to your life, or your body's going to tell you that you need to not see them anymore, and like certain people will leave you feeling drained without even noticing. It's not like I'm going to, be having this interaction. The cats are here, sorry. It's not like I'm going to be having this interaction, and I mean sometimes but a good chunk of the time you're not like mentally clocking the fact that you're being actively drained while you're having the conversation or like doing whatever you're doing with this person. Sometimes you do. Like sometimes I can sit there and be like, oh, okay, I know that I'm gonna feel like shit after I leave. Like this interaction or this person is not something that I want in my life, and I can feel that. Or I'm not gonna notice it at all, and I'm gonna sit there and think that I'm, having that it's a good vibe, and then I leave and I'm done. Like the entirety of my social battery is gone. I'm just mentally drained. Like, sometimes you don't even notice it, and that's okay. It's important to notice and take account for like how you feel after you see somebody, after you hang out with somebody, because sometimes you don't even notice that it's like a draining interaction. Now, this does not mean that person is a bad person. That does not mean that they are like purposely trying to mentally drain you or be mentally taxing on you. Some people simply like don't match your energy, they don't match your personality, they don't, and they don't need to have access to your time and space. And that's okay. That has nothing to do with who they are as a person or who you are as a person. If you're sitting there after the fact and you can acknowledge that, hey, this person didn't really match my energy, they didn't like, it was just not a good vibe, and I feel drained, I'm like, whatever. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It has nothing to do, I mean, sometimes they are bad people. Don't hang out with bad people. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are a bad person. Sometimes people just don't fit. Like, two personalities, a lot of the times, don't fit together. You have to be picky about who you accept and who you allow to occupy your space and your time. Does not have anything to do with them being a bad person. This doesn't apply to everybody, and there is people who genuinely are not very good people, and they also don't deserve to have time or space in your life. That doesn't mean that everybody that you don't vibe with is a bad person. Protecting your peace, or like protecting your energy, or paying attention to how people affect your energy, or just like, I guess, being specific about who has access to your emotional energy, doesn't give you permission to be an asshole. Like, that doesn't mean that you just have a free pass and that you can now be a jerk and cut off every single person in your life just because they quote unquote don't match your energy. If that's what you want to do, whatever, but you can't like be mad when people are frustrated that you cut everybody off, you know? However, it is important to protect, like, your life is really short. You do not have to spend time with people who don't make you want to feel happy and feel alive. Like, if somebody is draining, if somebody is mentally taxing for you, you don't have to spend time with them. I think it's really important to set boundaries with people and set healthy boundaries. Also, here's your reminder. If you set a boundary with somebody, it is your responsibility to uphold that boundary, not theirs. If they're a good person, they will respect your boundaries, but at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to uphold your own boundaries. That's that. But it's important to have healthy boundaries and like establishing these boundaries with people, and also just vocalizing the fact that you like, okay, here's an example. I feel like this episode's going to be all over the place. Here's an example. You've had this friend for a really, really long time, and you're just, you're growing up to be different people, you're kind of growing apart, or your lives are going in different directions. And what feels like overnight, they become this person who is pretty mentally draining on you, or mentally taxing. You find that every interaction is you having to take on their life problems or their whatever they're going through. You have to essentially be like a therapist for this person, and you're not a qualified therapist, Again, protect your energy, protect your peace, whatever. Don't just cut that person off because you've been friends for a really long time, and sometimes people don't realize that they are being mentally draining, mentally taxing. They don't realize that you feel as though you are taking on the burden of their problems or their situation, whatever it is. But you have to talk to that person. You have to have that conversation of like, hey, I really enjoy our friendship. I really treasure our friendship. I want to keep you in my life, but I cannot be this person for you. I cannot be the person that takes on every single issue that you have in life. Like, I am setting this boundary that I cannot be, your personal therapist, or I cannot be like your dumping ground for your emotional baggage. We need to have better boundaries there. And that's fine. That's a totally, like, if they are a mature person and they are understanding and they also care about your friendship, they are going to acknowledge that and make sure that going forwards, they are not treating you as this like mental dumping ground, and they are not taking all of your mental, that is your boundary that you have to upkeep. So next time you hang out with that person, if they're doing the exact same thing of saying like, here's all of my life problems, here's all of this negative shit that I'm taking from their brain and putting into your brain. And if you don't say anything about it, if you don't either leave the situation or you tell them like, hey, we talked about this, I can't be this person for you, or whatever, that's on you. It is your responsibility to uphold your boundaries. It is your responsibility to state your boundaries to begin with and then keep them. Because if you set this boundary of like, hey, I can't be this person for you, hey, we need to like kind of reconfigure the dynamic of our relationship, and then they don't make the change and you just go along with it, now that you've broken your own boundary. you know? So set your boundaries. Make sure that the people that are close to your life, and if the people that are close to you and the people that you are having to kind of have these conversations with, if they care about you and if they're good people, they will make the change, because they will not want to lose you as their friend or their partner or family, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to uphold those boundaries that you are setting with people. There's a huge difference between being cautious of how people affect your energy and how they, like, you know, the space that they occupy in your life and how you feel after you see them. That's one thing. It is a whole other thing to just find any excuse to be a bitch and cut people off. Because if you don't want to be friends with somebody, you don't have to be friends with them. Sorry. You're not in like grade 2 where you have to be friends with the whole class and everybody needs to be invited to the birthday party. You can be picky about who you want at your birthday party. But you don't always get to use the excuse of like, I'm just protecting my peace. I am just like being specific about who I want in my life. If that's actually true, that's fine. There has to be a reason behind that though. Or you're just cutting people off, which again, power to you. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you feel is necessary in your life. Do not mix up the two, because there's a big difference. I can sit here and I can acknowledge that somebody is a negative source of energy in my life. They are like, maybe they're just a really negative person, or they have very opposing views to mine about a certain topic that I really care about, or whatever it is. That's one thing. Or maybe we've been friends for, 10 years and we simply do not get along anymore. And I am saying, hey, here's the thing. I appreciate your time in my life for the last 10 years. This is no longer a relationship that I want to nurture. This is no longer a relationship that I want to have to force energy into when we're not getting any output. Big difference. Big difference between those two things. So don't confuse them. You can do both. You can, like, one person can be removed from your life because you are protecting yourself and you are whatever. And one person can be removed from your life because you simply don't vibe with them. But they are not for the same reason, and they should not be, like, interchangeable. You're allowed to be specific about who occupies space in your life and who you allow to have an impact on your life, but within reason. This is not me saying that I guess you can. You have free will. Like, you can go cut off every single person in your life if you really want to, but then you're not doing it for the reason of, like, oh, I'm protecting myself and I'm preserving my mental energy and I don't want people in my life who are mentally taxing, whatever. You don't get to just, like, cut off every single person unless there is specific reason. I mean, again, I say you're not allowed to. You can do whatever you want, but in terms of saying that it's because of you protecting yourself again and, like, being specific about who occupies your life, there's just a big difference between those two things, you know? But you are allowed to pick who's in your life. Even if you feel that you aren't, like, even if you've grown up and you've been taught that you have to be nice to everybody and everybody deserves time and space in your life. They don't. They simply don't. Some people are cunts. Like, sorry to say it. Some people are horrible people, and you don't have to make time in your life for them. You don't have to put yourself in a situation where you know, hey, if I see this person or if I have to talk to this person, or even so much as, like, this is such, like, a weird, the fact that this is what my, like, adolescence was like is wild. But when I was younger, I used to feel so bad if somebody followed me on Instagram and I didn't follow them back. So this resulted in me following, like, 1,500 people at one point in my life. That's insane. That is insane. I had, like, 1,500 followers. I don't anymore. People unfollowed me. I left high school and anyways, which is fine. People can do whatever they want. So at one point in my life, I was following, like, 1,500 people on Instagram, and that doesn't count, like, who I was friends with on Facebook, which I don't even use Facebook anymore. I think I have, like, 20 friends in total now. Or, like, who I was following on Visco, or Twitter was still a thing and I was using Twitter, or TikTok, Musical.ly, whatever. And a couple months ago, I guess close to a year ago now, I went and, like, purged my entire following list on TikTok. Like, I unfollowed, or not on TikTok, on Instagram, I unfollowed so many people to now, I don't know how many people I follow. I think I follow, like, less than 400 people now, which is still a lot. Like, it's still so much, and I really want to get that even further down, because I was at this point where, like, I would open, oh my god, or friends on Snapchat. I went and, like, cleared out who I'm friends with on Snapchat. I have nobody on Snapchat now. I don't even really use Snapchat anymore. I only really use it because Kendall and I have, like, a 1,400 day streak or something, and I have emotional attachment to the streak. But, like, I removed people on everything. I unfollowed people because I would open Instagram, for example, and I'd see these people's stories who, like, at one point in my life, we had a really good relationship, or we were, like, you know, we were really good friends and we were really close. And then that changed. And now me watching their stories or seeing their posts, whatever, it was bringing up all of those emotions that I have towards the situation that I had with that person. And I didn't want it anymore. So I unfollowed, like, everybody. And the fact, can we just talk about the fact that I got so many nasty ass texts from people who I hadn't spoken to in years about me following them, or about me unfollowing them on Instagram. I had a girl come up to me in the bar once. Like, I was sat at a bar with my friend, and this girl comes up to me and is like, she was so drunk, like, so hammered, but comes up to me and is like bitching at me that I unfollowed her on Instagram. I thought we were friends and we've known each other for so long, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I have not spoken to you in probably 4 years. Like, get the fuck away from me. You know, you can be specific. You can have, like, you can be picky about who's in your life, whether that's in real life or on your phone, whatever it is. You're allowed to be picky. It's your life. It is your emotional health. It is your mental health. It's your, like, if people don't have a positive addition to your life, like, if they are not a positive aspect of your life, if they are something that actively is draining or whatever else, don't let them have that time in your life. Like, don't let them have that space. You can be picky, but also, like I said, with, like, setting the boundaries with these people, you should give people the opportunity to shift their impact in your life. Obviously, this does not speak for people who are toxic, abusive, anything like that. Like, if you were, say you're in a relationship with somebody and it's abusive or toxic relationship, this obviously does not apply to that. Resources down below if you're struggling with DV or anything like that. But yeah, you should give people the opportunity to shift their impact, unless they are outwardly abusive or toxic, or you are, like, in physical or mental danger with this person. That's a whole nother video. But give people an opportunity to shift their impact. Like that conversation like the imaginary conversation that you are having with your friend about setting that boundary. It doesn't even have to be this, like, firm boundary that you set with somebody. You can simply say, hey, like, I can acknowledge that this is something you're going through, or this is, like, these are emotions that you are working through, and I cannot, like, this is not a topic that I can discuss. This is not something that I want to talk about. This is, like, I do not have the mental space in my life to take this on. I do this with so many people in my life. If I am, like, needing somebody to kind of, like, rant to, if I am just, like, if I need to just brain dump into somebody else, I will, like, straight up ask people, like, hey, do you have, like, the mental space to take this on right now? Like, do you have the mental space to hear this? Is this something you want to talk about? If not, totally fine. Because that's okay. If they say no, that's okay. And you have to accept that. Because just like you want people to accept and acknowledge the boundaries and, like, the guidelines you're kind of putting up in your life, you have to do that for other people. So don't be that person that's like, hey, I know you just told me that you don't have time and you don't have, like, the mental real estate for this. I'm gonna tell you it anyways. Don't do that, because now you're a cunt. Like, you suck. Like, give people the opportunity to shift their impact and to change their position in your life. And if they don't change their position, if they don't change, you know, whatever it is, you can remove that person from your life, because you gave them that opportunity. You told them, like, you set that boundary, or you had that conversation of, hey, this is, like, this specific topic is not something that I can talk about, or, like, hey, I just want to, like, shift the vibe of this conversation. If all of your conversations with these people are negative, you don't want it. I had a friend in high school, like, we were friends in high school and then we were friends in university, and they used to do this all the time to me. Like, if we we're sat having a conversation, and somewhere along the line, I kind of shifted the conversation to like a more negative topic or whatever it is, they would be very upfront and just be like, hey, I don't want to talk about that, or hey, that's not like the energy that I want in this conversation, whatever. Great. Honestly, fucking pros off to that person. If you're listening to this, I think you'll know who you are. But like, love you for that. Like, that was awesome. Having somebody basically like check me in it and say like, hey, this is not a conversation I want to have, or like, this is not, like, there is literally no reason for us to be having like negative conversation, and that was awesome. And I definitely take a lot of pointers from that person, because they're right. Like, why the fuck am I gonna sit here and have all of my conversations be negative? I'm already like, the world can be a really fucking negative place. So why am I actively adding to that, when instead I could just be like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about that. Here's like these good things that happened, or here, whatever. I think it's important to set those boundaries, have that clear communication with people, but also allow them time and space to change, because you don't necessarily have to lose all of these people in your life just simply because you had like one conversation that the vibe was off. You deserve to protect your peace. You deserve to feel happy and fulfilled with all of the people that are in your life. There is a big difference between protecting your peace and just being a bitch and cutting everybody off. So make sure you don't mix up the two of them. Make sure that if you are like, you are wanting to, because part of protecting your peace, part of, improving the energy that you have and that you put out into the world, is making sure that you do stuff like this in a good and a respectful way. If I'm sitting here saying like, I want to be a more positive person, I want to have more positive output, and this person that's in my life is making that difficult, if I just like cut them off, no contact, I give them no opportunity to change, am I really improving the energy that I put out in that world? Not really, because now that person is going to sit there and be like, wow, why, like, we didn't have any conversations about this. They gave me no reason as to why we're no longer friends, whatever. So instead of doing that, I want to have that conversation, set those boundaries, put like clear guidelines. I feel like that's not the right word that I'm looking for, but put those boundaries, or like, I need to have a conversation with you because here's the thing that like, I don't want to talk about this, or I don't want to have this energy in this relationship, whatever. And give people space to change. And also, if somebody comes to you and is telling you that they don't feel comfortable with an energy or whatever it is, respect it. Because otherwise, you very well might be the toxic person in somebody's life. You might very well be the reason that somebody needs to like remove you. Does that make any sense? I hope so. Protect your peace. Be specific about who you allow in your life. Be specific about who you allow to consume your mental energy. And make sure that the people in your life respect your mental real estate and the space that you hold for them and the energy that you hold for them. And do the same for other people. Be a good person. Be a happy person. Be a positive person. I guess that's all I got for this week. So thanks so much for listening, guys. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for getting this far if you got this far. Go follow the Instagram. It's Hey From M. Also, we're on TikTok, Hey From M, or you can follow my personal, which is EBFit, or Emily Brillard, whatever. Everything will be in the show notes or in the description. Here's your reminder. We're on YouTube. I say it every week, and I'm going to continue to say it every week. So if you prefer to watch your podcasts, link will be in the description, or in the show notes, I guess. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a review, whatever else it is they let you do. It doesn't make a big difference for you guys, but it makes a big difference for me. Yeah. I am so grateful that you guys are here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Have a happy Monday, and we'll chat next time. Okay, bye.